Welcome to Zoe Olivia Mindset. I'm your host, Zoe, coach to the growth minded high achiever, expert leader of full life transformations, and a voice for abundance, self love, and mind, body, and soul alignment. This show is for out of the box thinkers with big dreams, and every episode is designed to help you feel safe and free in your own skin, as well as guiding you in your healing and awakening journey. May you feel energized, expanded, safe, inspired, and free. Thank you for joining me. Let's go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of my brand new podcast, the Zoe Olivia Mindset. Wow. Honestly, for me, this is quite surreal, very real, and also very surreal. It's been something that's been in the works for quite some time now. So I'm feeling excited. I'm feeling really calm. I'm feeling really comfortable on this microphone, which was actually one of my concerns. I was like, oh, what am I going to say? But don't worry, you guys. I have a bunch of amazing content coming your way on this podcast. I want to start out giving you a little teaser trailer. First, about me. Okay, who am I? Who was I? What do I do? And why am I here? What can I teach you? And then I do want to wrap up this episode with 3 things that you guys can take away right now to help you live your best and most peaceful life. So, hello everyone. My name, if you don't already know me, is Zoe Olivia, and I'm a life coach. Specifically, I'm a mindset coach, which just means I help you see where your beliefs and your mindset are holding you back from getting and living everything you've ever wanted in life. Okay, so a little bit later, I'm going to tell you more details as to what that actually means. I'm going to make it make sense for you guys. But before I can talk to you about who I am now and what I do now, I think it's really important for me to tell you who I was. Okay, so let's dive in. Zoe, let's call her Zoe 1.0. Okay. This, I want to be very clear. I'm going to say a lot of things, maybe a trigger warning for anyone who's suffering from anxiety, from depression. It has a happy ending, I promise, but just so you guys are not totally taken out of the blue here, okay? So Zoe 1.0, which is just, a prior version of me in my past, okay? I was a chronic, and I mean chronic, people pleaser, okay? So from as young as I can remember, I was amazingly good at learning what a situation entailed in terms of what other people wanted to expect and receive. And I would sit back, I would observe, I would see kind of what was expected, and I would just do that. I was like, yeah, whatever it is, so that you'll like me, so that I'll be accepted, so that I'll quote unquote succeed in your eyes, blah, 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 all that good stuff. Where my people pleasers at? I know you guys feel me on this one. So that was huge. Ooh, there's so much juice to Zoe 1.0, you guys. I could go all day on Zoe 1.0. I also, it started honestly as anxiety, what would be quote clinically diagnosed, and I'll get into all of that later, but as anxiety for over a decade. So it started when I was really young. I knew that I was a really deep thinker and I could see things below the surface, and that honestly really freaked me out. I was like, what am I even doing here? I didn't really have a good system for processing the depth of the thoughts that I was thinking. And it was really overwhelming for me. And that combined with the people pleasing, right? I learned to just kind of not let my personality out in favor of just kind of surviving and getting through the moment. And that obviously produced in me anxiety because I was always on my toes, always trying to make everyone else happy, always trying to, get the best grades. I was that person. I went to a great school and I was very obsessed with being the top of my class and having all A's, and I did, and I'm proud of myself. And at the same time, like, oh, it makes sense that I had like this crippling anxiety, right? Because it was never enough. Like I would get an A, and then I'm like, and now the next day, and the next day, and the next day. And I was very, very burnt out from this self imposed pressure, right? And in my head at the time, I guess I would say it was, oh, and then you'll get to, I was very much buying into the script, which is you go to school and then you're top of your class, you get into the best college, and then you get the best job, and then you're the best one at the job, and then you get promoted 20 times, and then you get married and you have kids. And I'm not saying there's something wrong with that narrative. I'm just saying that, well, don't get me started actually, but we're gonna get there. But for me, um, it just wasn't the narrative. Like I couldn't anymore. I couldn't partake in it. I was really losing myself because I didn't have a system to be me, to express myself. So this anxiety that I had actually over time, as you can probably imagine, or if you're someone who has or is currently, suffering from this, it really combined with depression because not only did I feel like I couldn't be myself and express myself safely, I also felt like I had such a beautiful, privileged life. Like, who was I to complain? Who was I to be struggling? People have it way worse. And so I actually hid behind this mask of being the top of my class and being quote unquote cool or whatever it is that, kids care about at the time, when inside I was a wreck, right? Where my what was I going to say? Functional, anxious, depressed people. It's not a joke. It's actually really serious. And if you're experiencing that, I have a ton of resources for you. So don't worry. But at the end of the day, you guys are also going to see I have so much humor in what I do. So I hope that I invite you to like laugh with me, at me, all the things. But so yeah, so essentially that's who I was. That was Zoe 1.0. It was a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, a lot of chronic people pleasing, chronic stress. I really was concerned with what other people thought. If you haven't already learned that about me, right? I was very much like, okay, what is this, that, and the other person's perception of me? I in all of my studies, I've kind of learned that that's an enormous misalignment. But I want to be really clear that where I am now, which I'll go into, couldn't have been made into a reality until I really looked Zoe 1.0 in the mirror, in the eye, and I'm like, I forgive you, I'm sorry, and I love you. Like, honestly, I can't look back and say, oh, I was stupid or I was dumb and I can't believe I was doing this. Like, you'll never hear. And if you know me personally, you know that those words will never come out of my mouth. I have a tremendous amount of love and respect for that version of myself. Um, Tremendous amount of forgiveness for her, a tremendous amount of understanding, of compassion, again, love. I know that she was doing the best that she could at the time. And not only that, the contrast, like the quote unquote lows of what I was feeling at the time, had I not experienced them, I would not be where I am now. I would not even be able to conceptualize it or understand it. I would just be stagnant, if that makes sense. Like how people say, there's no day without night. You can't understand the concept of day without the concept of night. So, again, and you guys are going to get to know me really well, but there's not one thing in my past that you're going to hear me say that I regret or that I feel stupid about, or that I don't forgive another person, or I don't forgive myself. That was a theme of Zoe 1.0. If you haven't already noticed, coupled with all the things that I was doing, I was such a victim. Like everybody was always hurting me and making me feel bad. And I was always so mad at everyone. And like, why are they doing this to me? And life was just happening to me and everything was so unfair. And that's how I lived my life. I was enormously in the quote unquote passenger seat. I'm like, oh, this bad shit just keeps happening and people keep disrespecting me and like the government's after me. I had all the narratives, like everyone that you could imagine was against me. And like I said, I've forgiven that version of myself. And it wasn't until there are various moments. I would honestly pin it down to like three or four, but there were various moments where I had to come face to face, literally, with myself and say, this stops here. Like, this ends here, right now. And one of those moments being, you can't blame people anymore, Zoe. Like, if you are not happy, that's on you. If you're not at peace with yourself, that's on you. That's not on anybody else. It's no one's job to change your life, Zoe. It's yours. So, even though if this resonates with you for any kind of part of your journey, it might feel a little bit like, oh my God, I'm responsible. That's scary. It can feel scary, but it's also the most liberating and expansive thing that you can do for yourself to be able to say, this is on me. And I'm going to be very, very deliberate. I'm going to be very intentional. I'm going to be very careful and precise with where I invest my time, where I invest my intention, and the kind of person that I'm going to be because I'm wielding the power. Like I am the power. Um, so yeah, that was one of the shifts. Another one was I was actually as well diagnosed with PTSD a while back, and I should do like a full episode about this because it is a whole story. But around that time, I was referred to a psychiatrist who was just doing her job, and she's like, "Oh, like there's a possibility that you could be bipolar." And for me, somebody who, again, like I said, I was in victim mindset, and I was desperately trying to find answers to the question of what was wrong with me, like my entire life. That now, when I was presented with a potential quote unquote like diagnosis, like, oh, it's just this, it's just that, I had the opportunity within myself to buy into it. And I literally was like, hell no. Like, this is not going to be my life. And I want to be clear, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not going to tell you, you have this or you don't have this. If you're concerned that you might have a diagnosis, definitely defer to the opinion of somebody who is in that capacity. I'm just saying, for me, I was like, there is just no chance that that's about to be my life. Thank you so much. All the love to you. I'm done with this journey. I'm done being the victim. I'm not doing this anymore. So from there, um, I had to meet and face a lot of stuff. And I'm not going to say it was easy, but I'm also not going to say that it was really hard and like an uphill battle. No, like getting to know yourself, like inside and out, and your past, and making peace with all of the things and people, sometimes literally, sometimes not literally, is the most beautiful, beautiful, amazing, expansive, liberating journey that you can ever do. I'm still on it and I think it's beautiful. I freaking love it at this point. So I hope that you guys can learn a lot from me about what that means. Um, wow, what else? Like, I went deep, right? So to kind of sum up what I was saying, where the shift was, right, was taking my focus from without of me, like the external, like, oh, what does society say? What does my boyfriend say? What do my friends say? And I put it on me. I said, okay, what does my heart say? What does my intuition say? I know we're not taught to like follow our heart. They say, oh, protect your heart and all that jazz. But I'm like, you know what? I've done the things. I did, like I was telling you guys about that path before, like you get the corporate job and then you're the best one at the I did that. I had the corporate job. I had the things and I couldn't get out of bed. Like I was scraping by. I was so exhausted all the time and so miserable. I'm like, I don't care if this says that I am quote unquote a failure or whatever it is. I'm not a failure. I'm just going to make a new path and it's going to be defined by me and no one else. So that's kind of the baby steps, the beginning of how I got into the version of myself that I am now. I invested as well in a lot of personal growth, personal development, in coaches, in workshops, in classes. I'm an enormous nerd, which if you follow me in any kind of capacity or know me personally, you know to be true. I've been a nerd my whole life. So part of me trying to sift and sort through my own reality was to do a lot of studying and studying on the nature of reality, studying quantum physics, studying quantum mechanics, studying neuroscience, neuropsych, and how all of these things play together. What is spirituality? How does that dance with science? So, spoiler alert, they're the same thing. And that is a talk for another day. But, anyways, everyone like blocks me. No, but I have studied a lot and I do want you guys to be able to get to know the version of me that I am now because I feel like I've evolved many, many versions and I'll always be evolving. I'm not done learning. I tell everyone that I'm a student way before, beyond being a teacher, and that's how I plan to always be. So that's a little bit about me. To get to know me now, I am a life coach. I'm a mindset coach. Everything I do is based in the marriage of quantum physics and spirituality, energetics. What does that all mean? Life purpose. When it comes to why I have this podcast, I want us to go into this intentionally, right? So, in addition to popular demand, I have had friends, family, people on various social media platforms that have come to my master classes, my workshops, clients have said, time to get out there. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know. What am I going to say? And listen, I'm just going to be talking. So we're in this together, you guys. I really do hope that I can share all of who I am, all the things that I've learned, all the things that I've studied about life, about the nature of life, the nature of existence, and what I know and how I've used it to essentially save my own life. And not only to just kind of teach in this capacity, but to really empower you guys to see that beyond just me, you have, if you're listening to this, or if you're not, but whatever, you have all of the answers within you. It's just facts. So many of us are so eager to say, oh, it's outside and it's, oh, why is the world like this or whatever? I don't get it. I don't know. I'm never going to get there. You do know. Stay with me and I'm going to have you see that. So I really hope this resonates with you guys. I hope to give you some clarity. I hope that you guys get to know me in this new capacity. I am super excited. A little bit about what I do. So I'm a life coach. So I've said that only 5 million times. It's really like, if I'm going to be honest, life coach is the most normalized word for like my job title profession, I guess, but it doesn't even almost encompass all that I do and all that I want to do and I hope to do and the capacity that I hope to continue serving everyone um, that I work with. So as of right now, I have open slots for one-on-one coaching, and I'll tell you a little bit about what that means. That is virtual as well. So I have people in 5 different time zones now, which is absolutely humbling and incredible. I have also launched my first group container, Divine Life Collective, which just ended, and it was an absolute blessing, an amazing experience. If you're listening to this from DLC, I love you. Thank you for participating. It was just so much support in the community, so much healing, so much growth, so much love. And I'm honestly really humbled and honored to have been a guide in that experience. And I have a lot of amazing, fun things coming soon. So stay tuned. Right now, if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, what that looks like is meeting once a week virtually. I do right now hour-long sessions with my clients, and that may or may not, spoiler alert, it will be changing in the future. So if you're interested, please do not wait. Please, please, please do not wait. Go ahead and apply now. I will put the link in the show notes so that you guys know exactly where to go. So before I leave you guys, I want to give you 3 things to know now to begin to change your life for the better. Okay, so woo! I am excited about this one. So let's start from the top, okay? This is one of my favorite things to say, to teach, right? And to also embody. What you believe is what you receive. Okay? I'm going to say that again. If you guys have been rocking with me for some time, you know that I say this all the time and you have it plastered somewhere in your home. And if not, please begin to notate and plaster because this is really important, okay? What you believe, you receive. Literally. And yes, I could take this very meta and very spiritual, but I want to start out with just some basic neuroscience 101 here, guys. Okay. There is a part of the brain called the reticular activating system. Its job is to filter out things that you're experiencing in the outer world to confirm your existing beliefs. Okay. So there is way more information in our reality that than we're actually perceiving with our senses through our experience. So this begs the question, what are we actually thinking about, perceiving, and seeing from the outside? It's a result of what the RAS, the reticular activating system, has filtered out in order to confirm our beliefs. It's like if you think of it's like a little filtering system that says, oh, Zoe has these beliefs. And there's so many things out here. There's like so many different experiences, and we don't want her to get overwhelmed. So we're just going to show her the things, like a little algorithm. We're going to show her the things that we think she's interested in, AKA your beliefs, right? So people, this is honestly, this is the same phenomena where it's like, okay, I went and I'm going to test drive a Tesla and a white one, and it's this model and whatever. And now that I've driven it, I see that car effing everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the same exact phenomena. So I want to harp here when I say what you believe, you receive. This is literally why I have a job and a career, because our journey, our invitation for this life is to literally notice where our beliefs are holding us back. Okay, where our beliefs are holding us back from the love, from the money, the anything that you can think of. If you want it and you don't have it, I guarantee 10 times out of 10, there's a belief inside of your brain right now that is pushing it away. Okay, so starting to get clear, and I don't mean this to like freak you out and now like everyone's like all confused. It's just an invitation to say, okay, I could take a step back and start to sift what it means to explore my beliefs. What even is a belief? That's going to definitely be a topic for another episode because I could talk about it all day. Okay. Another thing which kind of ties into point number 1 is point number 2, which is you are not your starting point. Okay. So when I say starting point, all I'm referring to is where you are right now. It can be physically, it can be emotionally, it could be financially, it could be relationally, in terms of anything you can think of, especially if it feels icky and not optimal. That's a starting point. And there's a lot of amazing, valuable information in our starting point. So instead of, which is our inclination, our urge to judge ourselves and to say, but I don't have the money, or I don't have the dream partner, or the dream life, this sucks. No. If I could invite you to do anything in addition to starting to look at where your beliefs might be holding you back, is to say, okay, I can recognize that I want to be XYZ in that direction, but I'm going to take where I am. And if I can't look at it with love, which is a dream for Zoe, I will look at it with curiosity. Okay. That's number 2. All right. Number 3, if you think that there's more to life than waking up and like rolling over and being like, oh my God, not again. I'm just like living for everybody else and this kind of sucks. And I really don't want to complain because I have a roof over my head and I have food, but I just know that there's more. Let me tell you, you're listening to the right podcast. You're in the right place. You're home. You're safe. What you're going through right now is normal. And no, it doesn't have to be your life. So just know that I'm sending you an immense amount of love. I look forward to our potential podcasts together. If you guys want more, please send me recommendations, questions, reviews, good, bad, ugly, everything in between, to my Instagram. You can DM directly with me or a member of my team at the Zoe Olivia. So that's TheZoeOlivia. I do a bunch of free masterminds, classes. I'm about to launch in 2 days the Peace Challenge. So stay tuned for the next challenge, and please let me know all of the feedback that you guys have. Don't forget to send this to somebody that you think could use it. You never know who's going through things, and the more that we can kind of come together in this community, I will feel like I am living in my purpose, and so will you. So I'm sending you guys massive amounts of love, and I will talk to you soon.